How cool is that? He's a little bit opera and a little bit rock and roll. Singer Alexander Kariotis fuses the two musical genres into the art form rock opera. He's also on a mission to raise awareness about Lou Gehrig's disease. Alexander Kariotis is here to talk with us now about his new CD and a special performance tonight, National Anthem over at Dodger Stadium. So
very excited.
Let's start with that. You're going to be doing Dodger Stadium.
Awesome.
You're actually doing national anthems at a bunch of ballparks, correct?
Yeah, I just came back, believe it or not, from Fenway Park.
Oh.
I know,
How
right?
cool is that?
I got to tell you, I grew up with baseball. My brother was a baseball player too, and being at Fenway Park, just to go to the park is amazing. But to stand there and sing the anthem, it was great. And it was also on the 75th anniversary of Lou Gehrig's speech. All the ballparks, all 30 of them, were celebrating that day.
Fantastic.
And to be there with all those people who are all working to fight this disease, it was hard not to cry. I was very emotional.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Your brother has had ALS, right?
Yeah.
Which is Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah.
For those that aren't aware of ALS, it's such a devastating disease.
It's a terrible disease.
Tell me what happens.
With the disease itself?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but the basic thing that happens is the motor neuron, you get a signal from your brain to the motor neuron, and the motor neuron sends an electric charge to all of your muscles. And that motor neuron stops sending that charge. So every muscle in your body just atrophies.
And you just slowly, waste away because it's a muscle wasting.
Yeah. And you know what the terrible thing is? That your mind is completely clear during the whole process.
Yeah.
So you're trapped in your body. You're trapped.
So the goal of singing at these ballparks is not only to get your name out there, but more importantly to get the word out about ALS, right?
Yeah, to tell people what's going on. I'm trying to do my part. I've been calling myself the voice of ALS because that's what I can do. I do a lot of things back east. I work with a lot of different groups at the ALS Association in New York. I sing for them, and also in New Jersey, there's the Robert Wood Johnson has an ALS association.
Sure.
We've been doing concerts, raising money for them. So, and I got to say, this is kind of a little personal mission for me because my brother lived out here, and it was here where he got diagnosed. And when it was time for him to go home, we hopped in a convertible and did the brotherly trip all the way back to Chicago. And it was here where he lost his voice. And for me tonight, it's the Kariotis voice is going to sing once again.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, well, you're so unique because you've mashed up two things that don't really necessarily go together. Yeah. Although we have seen rock operas, we've seen some rock stars who have really big voices. That's what you're bringing to the stage, right?
I'm trying to do something different. I really am a rock opera artist because of the life I've led. My brother was a rock singer in Chicago. He was with a band that had a couple albums out, and he was very famous. And I was a little boy following in his footsteps, and he was nice enough to let me have a little rock band that opened up for him. And we had a sit down when I was graduating high school. I said, I want to follow in your footsteps. And he said, I think there's something more in your voice that you're not letting out. And I thought he would just put me down, and that was it, But he took me to see Luciano Pavarotti, and we weren't listening to classical music at the time. And he said, let's go get some more culture. And when I heard that voice,
it clicked for you.
That was the moment.
Hey, take a listen.
Was wasting away, caught between lies and a sly refrain. Well, this time it's going my way. Why not tonight?
You can't help but hear a little Freddie Mercury, a little Steve Perry, right?
Steve Perry, for sure, yeah.
I mean, these are great, come from great rock bands.
I have no problem having you say that.
Great, beautiful voices, right?
Yeah, well, Steve Perry was the idol, growing up. It was my brother and then Steve Perry. That's what I was trying to be. But I had to say it that way. If I said Steve Perry first, I would have gotten a beating, Chicago beating. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
This half slap upside.
You got this new album, Alexander Kariotis and the Rock Opera Orchestra. Yeah. What kind of things will I hear on this? First of all, I want to know who wrote the liner note, golden voiced stud.
Can you believe that? It was a review I got from
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, if you get a review like that, you got to use it, right?
Of course, it's right on there.
T-shirts,
So what's on it?
It's original music. What I do is I take, like in Nessun Dorma, we take an operatic aria and infuse original rock music around it. And it's this combination, this coming back and forth, this amalgamation of both styles. And it's been really popular. People are loving it. It's on Amazon now. It's an Amazon exclusive. You can learn a lot more at alexanderkariotis.com.
I love it. I love it.
And the neat thing about the album is just to show the testament of this playing with all these different genres, I have 2 guest artists on there.
Yeah.
I did a collaboration with David Sanborn.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, it was amazing. To be in the room with David Sanborn, because, you grew up, how many...
He's great.
It's amazing.
And then more importantly...
Yeah, on the opposite of the spectrum, Daryl DMC McDaniels from Run DMC. Can you believe it?
Word.
We're shooting a video in the fall.
I love it. All right, for more information about Alexander Kariotis and his links to his website and more about his music, or you can go to Dodger Stadium, go to KCAL9.com, click on Seen on TV, Alexander.